a lot of businesses, at least a lot of businesses that I know, don't really know what's going on in the world or in their governments or in the laws and that sort of thing, because it's easier to kind of put their head in the sand. And as businesses and in all aspects of our business, it's actually really important for us to know what's going on and how it impacts us and that sort of thing. So so when we're kind of moving along with these things over the months ahead of us, we're probably going to be bringing up some topics that might seem a little out of where, what this podcast is really all about, just because we think it might be relevant.
Welcome, trailblazers and visionaries, to the ACTIONERA Podcast, your ultimate guide to mastering community building, skyrocketing engagement, and boosting your revenue. If you're an author, speaker, coach, expert, or online entrepreneur, this is the show you've been waiting for. Here at ACTIONERA, we've been revolutionizing the content marketing landscape with our cutting-edge platform for membership, courses, events, marketing, and community building. Now, we're thrilled to bring our wealth of knowledge to your ears through this podcast. Each week, we'll delve into the hottest strategies and technologies that are transforming the worlds of community building and entrepreneurship. Get ready for fascinating expert interviews, inspiring success stories, and actionable tips that will catapult your business to new heights. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or new to this industry, the ACTIONERA Podcast is your one-stop resource to help you create a thriving content marketing system and crush your goals. So buckle up and join us in today's episode as we embark on this exhilarating adventure together.
Hey, welcome to ACTIONERA Podcast. I'm Iman and Aghay. I'm super excited to be with every single one of you on today's show. I'm here with my amazing business partner, Robert Evans, and we are going to have a ton of fun on this podcast series. We're going to continue. We're going to talk about actually many amazing topics that's really good for entrepreneurs, for coaches, experts, program leaders, and in general, anybody who can use content marketing and who can use different systems and strategies to share their message and knowledge in the world. So we're super excited to see you. Robert.
Hey everybody, Robert Evans here, co-founder with Iman and Mark. We're very excited. This is our very first podcast, and we got a lot that we plan to share with you over the episodes as they're coming up. And the idea here is to just give you a lot of value, a lot of ideas. We're going to have fun. We're going to play around, but we're here to really inspire you to get your message out into the world and use the best tools out there like ACTIONERA to reach people and impact them and make a difference in your business.
Absolutely. And you said co-founder with Mark. Now we got to explain this.
Yeah, we should probably explain that.
So Mark is Robert's brother, and he is our tech founder. So probably you will never see him on camera. Imagine Mark being on camera with us doing this podcast.
Mark is like, why aren't I on the podcast? We're like, oh, sure, let's do it. Yeah. So
yeah. So we love you, Mark, and then but then you're probably not gonna see Mark ever on the camera, at least publicly. So anyways, we're very, very excited for this first episode. So let us actually tell you what we're going to do on all these episodes. Of course, because this is a pilot episode and we're going to change, we may change the structure. So we want your feedback, right? We want you to tell us how we can improve the episodes, how we can actually have better content, or if you want us to talk about a specific topic, definitely let us know on how we can actually talk about all like what topics you want us to talk about. But the structure of these calls is that first we're gonna kind of give you a little bit of our whereabouts, because Robert and I travel quite often, and what we plan to do is that because we travel often, we're gonna record these episodes when we are in the same hotel room at the same time, right? Because Robert lives in San Diego, I live in Vancouver, BC, but then it's actually more fun to record this in person, right?
What's really funny there, it's funny you said the structure of these calls, and that's funny because we're usually online on calls. Yes, that's the right structure of this. I mean, that's all. I mean, we're doing this every single day, but we're on either on Zoom or in this particular case, we're at a live event. Finally, back to the stage. You know, talking to people. But it's funny how the calls things is so ingrained in us.
Right. I mean, like for me, I've been teaching online, like being on calls since 2015. So the majority of Success Road Academy, my other company, has been entirely online since 2015. So when I go to events, even sometimes I say, "Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar." Oh shit, this is a seminar. We're in person, right?
You got the R right. So the R.
But then now with COVID, since 2020, everything became call. So I don't even notice that they say welcome to this call or on this call, this is what we are doing. So
you can count on me pointing out all your flaws as you do mine. that's the kind of but we won't get into any of those. So
just give me I
should actually take over this right now because he's about to get himself in trouble. So, you know, each podcast, we have a plan to bring some kind of topic to the space that we're going to discuss. We're going to share our experience with. I mean, you know, Iman and I have been kind of in this industry of online marketing for a combined nearly 40 years. And each of us has built different companies that at various different levels of success. Some very successful, some that are currently very successful, and we've helped a lot of people, literally tens of thousands of people, really get their message out in the world. So our goal is that you walk away from this podcast, or while you're walking, listening to it, whatever kind of lame puns that I can come up with, but you're gonna walk away from this podcast with something that you might go and start implementing and using, or at least get excited about, because it's going to take your business to the next level.
Absolutely. And then we also are going to give you a little bit of update about ACTIONERA as a company and about where we are heading with the company. So there are going to be different things that we're going to discuss. We may discuss some new features, or discuss some like amazing case studies of our clients who are using ACTIONERA in amazing ways, or things like that. And generally that's going to bring our conversation to the end. We may have some guests from time to time also. So that depends where we are, and if the place that we are actually makes sense for us to have guests in those episodes. But we just so happen, because we travel a lot and we have like lots of amazing people at these events that we go to, it actually would be very helpful. Not very helpful, but like sometimes we have amazing people that we can't find easily.
Yeah.
And they just so happen to be in the same room with us, or like in the same hotel with us. So we probably will invite them and we'll interview them as well. Just a little bit of heads up. Robert and I joke a lot, like a lot, right? So if you can't take jokes, this might not be your podcast.
And they're not going to be the best jokes either. And sometimes they're going to be inside jokes. So we apologize for that.
Yeah, I mean, like the ones that are not good is his jokes, though. So don't worry, like you can expect high quality jokes from me.
So that's an example right there.
But anyways, we can't take jokes if you're like gonna be offended by us, like making fun of things, or making fun of each other. Then just cool down. Just come and have fun with us, and we promise you that it's gonna be entertaining and very educational. And high quality implementable content that we're going to share at this on these calls.
Yeah. 100%. So what do we want to talk about? We actually made a whole list of things that we might explore.
Yeah, absolutely. But first we need to tell people actually where we are and what we're talking about.
Some context.
And you're really glad that you put the camera on you while I'm talking, right?
Live switching here, people. This is the amazement of technology. Well, in fact, we might even talk talk about this technology at some
Yeah,
point.
actually, we can talk about the setup.
Yeah.
Definitely, we can talk about the setup. We should talk about the setup. But before we talk about the setup, letting people know where we are right now. So, right now, right this second, we are in Phoenix, Arizona. We are at an event called Mastermind to Millions, where we are representing ACTIONERA in the back of the room, in the booth. And we also have a public speaking talk, of course, on the stage later today. So today is day 3 of the event. And the Mastermind to Millions, if you have never been to it, is an event by amazing Jay Fissett and Brad Hart. And we're very actually excited to be at this event. This is a very high quality event. I've been very enjoying it.
Yeah.
And this is a nice hotel. Like this was.
This is a great hotel.
Yeah, this is a great hotel.
I mean, other than the curtains.
Yeah.
I mean, they're typical hotel curtains, but
yeah, but that's weird, right? Like because like you're at a hotel that, I mean, it's not like a $100 a night hotel, right?
They've got a great breakfast.
Right, they got a great breakfast, but anyways, but they have the $100 a night type curtains.
Yeah.
hotels.
Exactly.
So anyways, but that's where we are right now, and we've been very excited. We have launched some new amazing features for ACTIONERA, which we may not get to that in this episode, but we may talk about that at the next episode. So the plan is that every time that we're traveling together, we record 3, 4, 5 episodes back to back, or in the 3-4 days that we are together, and those episodes get published once a week. As full episodes, and then those episodes get divided into shorts and also other type of social media content that's going to be published on all our social media platforms. So if you're not following us on the social platforms that you usually use, just make sure that you go find the links to all the platforms that we have, and just follow us in any platform that you're using. And apparently they may close down TikTok, so we probably
Not going to happen.
They're not going to happen. So anyway, so while we're at this event, it's at the time that TikTok is representing, is it the House or the Senate? I have no idea about these things in the
It's
U.S.
politicians.
It's politicians. Anyway, so TikTok CEO is being grilled by the politicians, except that I think like the grill is a little bit wrong. So the questions, I haven't seen what's happening.
You don't want to get me started on this. It's really sad what's going on, but yeah, I mean, it's yeah. Well, we could actually get into some of that stuff too, because I think it's a fascinating conversation.
Right, but probably we normally won't talk about politics, except if politics hit
impacts
technology.
business. Yeah.
No, well, politics hit the technology, right? Like for example, something
100%.
like this, where politicians are asking questions from the CEOs of TikTok or like Zuckerberg or whoever they're asking. But I haven't watched the entire thing, but I watched like a few things, and the questions were like, oh my God, we really need better educated politicians. like I watched the one today that one of the politicians was asking the TikTok CEO if a person is using TikTok on their cell phone, are they connected to the Wi-Fi of that phone? And I'm like, of course, like what? Like everything, like if that phone is connected to Wi-Fi, then TikTok is using that Wi-Fi. Like, I mean, like, what are you even asking? And what's the point? I mean, like the person says, yes, we are accessing the Wi-Fi. So what's the point? So they want to like get information from their fridge. All their information is on the phone. Like the phone is a place that people have the most amount of information. Yeah. As long as they have access to the phone, if TikTok has all that privacy issues, which let's say, for example, it has, right? Even if it had, what accessing Wi-Fi, how's that going to change anything?
Yeah.
Like,
there's no logic to these questions, and it's just kind of it's an interesting thing for me to think that our government, any government that bases on free speech and just democracy or just businesses being able to run their businesses. For me, the impact of a social media platform shutting down and the impact that could have on so many businesses. There's 5 million businesses that rely on TikTok for their income. And there's 150, half of the United States is on TikTok, using TikTok. So it's an interesting thing. It might be something that most people go, this doesn't really impact me, but it does ultimately have an impact on us as a whole.
Yeah. Well, one thing though, I believe that if there is any privacy issue, that privacy issue needs to be discussed, and that privacy
100%.
issue needs to be solved.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest failure of United States justice system about this, not as a whole, right? I'm not American, I'm in Canada, and I don't know about all the failures of justice system in the US, but about this particular thing was that TikTok was able to offer a settlement to users for not going to court to discuss the privacy issues.
Yeah.
And that's a massive failure, because the problem was you have a privacy issue and let's go to court and let's actually publicly discuss your privacy settings and what you can get access to. And then TikTok was I'll pay you $190 million. And then people are okay, give us the money and then we'll shut up. What? How that I believe is a failure of the system, and of course people being pursued in not pursuing something that was really relevant and important to them.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting because the worry is data being shared with organizations, companies, and that sort of thing. But the reality is that we have all social media platforms, all the major ones. Facebook has been caught in sharing data with outside companies that could sell it to any country or whatever. So there's got to be there's just something that's wonky going on here. But it is what it is. I don't think it's ultimately going to happen. But too much of an uprising, the government would be sued by a lot of people if this happened.
Yeah. So, anyways. By the way, we actually didn't get on the call to necessarily talk about call, right? No, but
maybe what we'll do is we'll keep a counter,
right?
In the thing. Anytime he says calls,
drinking game. We can do a drinking
Listen,
game.
We're not going to do a drinking game. Mom will be sloshed by the end of this podcast because he's already 2 shots in. So
I'm not 2 shots. Oh,
yeah, you are.
I mean, I was suggesting that people can play a drinking game every time.
Oh, they're going to drink.
Call.
My God, people!
You guys are going to be hammered.
That.
You guys are going to be hammered. Anyways, don't do that. By the way, that's a joke. Take the joke, okay?
Although at one point we should tell them about that one podcast that we did.
I mean that podcast. Okay, that podcast. Now you bring it down.
I guess maybe it's too late. We should actually talk about that podcast.
Okay, so but hold your horses for that. Let me finish that other conversation. So we didn't get on the call necessarily talking about TikTok. So some of the things that we shared may not have been fact checked, right? However, the things that have been shared and heard and other things, right? So I just want to make sure, because I usually like to share facts, but then this part.
Well, these are our opinions.
These are opinions,
right? Yeah.
Opinions, and
I have an indefinite opinion because I'm a user of TikTok and not a lot of other social media platforms. So these are just our opinions. But and that's the thing with this podcast, we are absolutely going to be bringing you strategies, wisdom, and that sort of thing. But we're also wanting to bring up, and I think a lot of businesses, at least a lot of businesses that I know, don't really know what's going on in the world or in their governments or in the laws and that sort of thing, because it's easier to kind of put their head in the sand. And as businesses and in all aspects of our business, it's actually really important for us to know what's going on and how it impacts us and that sort of thing. So so when we're kind of moving along with these things over the months ahead of us, we're probably going to be bringing up some topics that might seem a little out of where what this podcast is really all about, just because we think it might be relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing, actually, let's hold on that podcast maybe to the end of this call or maybe to the next episode,
Agreed.
Because we want to kind of keep the time within the time frame. And so we're going to probably talk about that podcast maybe like that. There is a very unique podcast that we recorded several years ago as a guest for somebody else, but we're going to talk about that maybe in the next episode. However, one thing that would be very useful to share with everybody, especially if you guys are watching this on YouTube or on a platform that allows us longer shares, it would be really good for everyone for that we share the setup that we have here, right? And I think actually maybe we can share the behind the scene camera with our video editor
Sure,
to be able to see that as well, like at least the picture photo of that.
camera on you.
Okay.
I'm still on audio, so I'll just kind of bring it up and
Yeah.
we'll actually insert some of this in here. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
talk
So
about.
anyway, so like the way that the setup is here, we are using 3 Mevo cameras. These are Logitech Mevo cameras. And these Mevo cameras, one of the amazing things about them is that they allow us to do live switch between the different cameras. We have one major light standing in the back, and we have one very little light down this coffee table, and it allows us to just kind of decrease the shadow for Robert, because Robert is sitting very close to the wall, so he had some shadow, and then we needed to remove that. And then we are using several microphones and backup microphones for recording this. And this is very important, the microphones and the backup microphones. I think historically, between all the events that I've ran and all the courses that I've recorded, the most important thing that goes wrong is actually the audio.
Yeah, audio is a biggie. Yeah.
Yeah, the audio just so happens a lot that we have this issue of, for example, like the microphone stops working. I actually almost wore a lap mic or lavalier microphone today, and it didn't have any batteries, right? So now imagine if I didn't notice that it doesn't have battery, I would wear it, and then we'll just record the entire episode, and we'll get to the end of it, and then we'll realize that battery were, like the microphone died like halfway in. So we are actually using, I believe, two default microphones, and then we're using 2 backup microphones, and every single one of these cameras have their own microphone. So in a way, we are recording this thing 7 times over.
We're redundantly covered multiple times
When it comes to
we,
the audio.
we do not want to,
You know what would be the funny thing? Our audio would suck. And then people are listening to this like, you guys had 7 sources of audio, and this shit is what you're able
and
to
they're like,
do.
wow, we're not impressed. So maybe you guys are good online, but when it comes to this stuff, maybe not. So
Right.
it's tested, thank God.
Yeah, and I just kicked the table, so if you guys heard something really loud, that was because I kicked the table, and all the 7 microphones probably had a large hit. Except Robert's microphone.
Yeah.
That one is on his chest. I couldn't kick it high there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
He would hurt himself if he did that.
Okay.
All right.
So that's a little bit about tech. Let's talk about...
What is ACTIONERA?
Let's talk about action.
Yeah.
And you begin.
ACTIONERA. ACTIONERA is a technology and training company that helps businesses, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs, even small businesses. I mean, we have businesses that are brick and mortar, that all across the board, helping basically any business that has a message that they want to get into people's lives in whatever capacity that is. We help them get their message out into the world. But we're using the most powerful platform in the world that right now small businesses aren't leveraging nearly enough. And that is these devices here, our smartphones. We've developed the absolute best, most comprehensive app platform for businesses to launch their own app without it costing them an insane amount of money. Now, why I say we're a training company is because with the actual technology, we provide ongoing training, not just how do you use the technology, which is a big part of the training, but how do you also use the best and most effective online marketing strategies, and then you use that with the technology to 10x your results. And so Actionera is, is ultimately now we clearly call it the all-in-one expert marketing, membership, content, and course platform. It does a lot of things, so I could say a lot of things, but it's the ultimate all-in-one platform for you to get your message out into the world and do it effectively.
Yeah, and we also have two portals. So we have our app portal, or we call it content portal, and then we have our marketing portal. And our marketing portal allows people to have their own websites. So if you want to have a website for your business, you want to have your blogs, you want to have a contact us page, about us page, all of those things on the web. Our system also allows you to have all the websites. If you want to build a mailing list, our system allows you to have your mailing list also in our system. If you have, for example, if you want to have funnels, landing pages, sales pages, opt-in pages, all of those things, you can do that with Actionera and regardless of the app, right? So you can have them on the app, but it can completely be on the web. It can help you to book all your appointments, or replaces tools like Calendly or Acuity scheduling. And it allows you to do text messages, phone calls, and a lot more features. So
setting up payment forms and connected to payment systems like Stripe and PayPal. It covers everything. It's amazing.
So technically it's a one tool that allows you to do everything, plus have your own app and a companion website also for that app. So even if people can't download your app or don't want to download an app, they can get access to the entire content of your app on your companion app website, which kind of makes Actionera a very unique company. There are many all-in-one tools out there that they do funnels and a mailing list and affiliate tracking. And those three, they call them all-in-one. However, none of them allow you to have your own branded app that people can download it from Google Play or App Store. There is one company that allows you to do that, but that one company forces you to use WordPress. And also doesn't give you, because it forces you to use WordPress, it doesn't give you unlimited websites. It just allows you to have one website on WordPress, which will cost you a lot. And now you have to also deal with WordPress and all the extra plugins you need to buy and keeping it up to date. And then I have all the security issues that WordPress has, as opposed to Actionera. It just kind of, because it's a SaaS business, it updates everything in the system. So it's just always up to date. You don't need to worry about any updating or any of those things. And so, and also in terms of the expenses, it's significantly less expensive of anything that's out there in the market within its own quality. I mean, sometimes people can get like a $500 app, but absolutely doesn't come anywhere close to the technology. And probably they were gonna get their app rejected by App Store and Google Play and other platforms. So within the quality that Actionera exists and within its price point, there is, as far as we are aware, there's absolutely no company in the market that can come anywhere close to the features and also service. And definitely, we are sure about this, that no company comes close to the community and the training that we have on Actionera. Partially because Actionera has purchased several other businesses as well. So, and that's kind of like when we get to a little bit later in the conversation today, we're going to talk a little bit about updates of Actionera, because the last few months have been crazy amazing at Actionera. Mm-hmm. And we have had like amazing news after amazing news after amazing news. And I mean, one of our investors on a call a few days ago was saying, you guys have invested in so many things. I don't even know what shares I own anymore. But like, thank you very much for all the work that you guys are doing. And I mean, like, it's been crazy, the work that we have done over the last few months. Yeah. And we're excited for the next few months and all the changes that's coming out.
Yeah. we're excited because it's has such a huge impact on our clients, and keeping them focused, keeping them in a place that they're highly supported, and giving them the tools that really are effective. And and we got into the app world because, and here the funny thing about it is this: it's not that this. I think this is really important because we get this thoughts from some of our clients. It's not that apps are a force that's coming, or that this is the thing that's going to that you're going to want to be a part of down the road. It's already here. It's been here for many years. If you look at first off, with smartphones and apps, apps obviously run off of smartphones, and there are two primary platforms. There's iPhones and there's Android. When you look at the history of the growth of smartphones, first thing is this is the fastest growing technology in the history of technology. So there are now get ready for something that's really mind-blowing. There are now 7 billion smartphone users in the world, which equates to like 86% of the world population. And if you compare that to, there's probably multiple more billions of computers. No. There's only about, as far as desktops or laptops that sit on people's desks, there's about 4.5 billion. We've surpassed the usage on computers, on smartphones, a long time ago. And the problem, though, is that the big businesses have been leveraging this and using this world for many, many years. But the small businesses haven't. And there are two reasons for that. Number one, they just don't have the knowledge or the understanding that this is the platform that you need to be on. First and foremost, this needs to be your primary platform. And number two, it has been incredibly expensive and out of reach for most small businesses. And that's why we started this business, because we recognized it for ourselves. We recognized this is where we needed to be. And when we found out how much it was going to cost for us to build our first app, which was, well over a 6-figure price point, we realized not only do we need to solve this problem for ourselves, but since we serve we serve people that have messengers, as I like to call them, we decided to solve this problem for all of you too.
Yeah. And I think at one point, Robert and I are going to talk about the different technologies related to apps. So there are platforms, there are templates, there are custom built apps, and like the expenses that they have and like what type of apps and everything else. But Robert, one of the interesting things that you mentioned, you said that this is the fastest growing technology out there. And unfortunately, lots of times people, not unfortunately, like this is what it is. Like news supposed to create hot things and just tell people that this is the hottest thing, this is the hottest thing, this is the hottest thing. And the reality is that because apps have been out there for such a long time and smartphones have been out there for such a long time, they don't they're not like, oh my God, like people started using smartphones, right? It doesn't sound hot. So they keep talking about, like, for example, oh my God, Facebook got 2 billion users. Or for example, like TikTok grew to like billion users. Or like, for example, ChatGPT grew to like 100 million users in like 4 months, whatever it was, right? And everybody gets excited. But what they don't realize is that there is a foundation that people are using that Facebook. There is a foundation that they're using that TikTok. There is a foundation there, and that foundation that's allowing these tools to grow is actually the existence of smartphones.
Yep. Yeah, it's the devices.
And like that's the part that people actually don't put two and two together. They're like, hey, wait a second.
Yeah.
All like TikTok is primarily on smartphones. So that foundation that allowed TikTok to become TikTok was actually the existence of smartphones. If smartphones didn't exist, TikTok would never grow as fast as it did. And Facebook grew slower than TikTok because there were less smartphone users, and then creating Facebook app took several years after Facebook was launched.
Yeah.
So the thing is that the entrepreneurs have not tapped into this market. They have not tapped into the market as like, let's own my own phone. Let's own my own app. Let's own my own systems. They're all like, oh, you know, Facebook has an app, TikTok has an app. Why don't you? And the reality is that people try to get on YouTube. People try to get on TikTok. People try to get on Facebook to start sharing their knowledge and message. But it's not to the benefit of YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and any of those platforms to send people to your website, which is the ultimate engagement that you want. Why? Because where TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all of those those companies make their money is by keeping people on their own platform so they can sell more advertisement. And the problem with that is that you make money if people go from the platform to your website. However, Instagram and TikTok don't even allow you to have links in the captions of your videos. You got to send people to bio and get people from the bio to go, which is one link for all your videos, which means that you can't have different call to actions unless you send them to a link tree, which is even much lower conversion rate than you would want them to go to one page. And Facebook, the moment that you put a link in the core of the message, it just doesn't show it to anyone, right?
And what's even worse is that you can post that message that you think your community is going to see, and a tiny fraction of them will actually see it because they want you to pay them for everybody to see it. And so it's not just, we need to go where people are spending their time. It's these devices, it's these smartphones, and put our message in front of them. But we also need to get out of the dependency of the companies that want to keep your people, your clients engaged in what they want them to see. You need your own platform. And that's what having your own branded app is really all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you build your own platform, and we've been talking about building your own platform for many, many, many years, right? Like from, I think, probably 98, people have been talking about build your own platform. And at the time, it was like, have your own, blogs came out in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then before that was like, have a mailing list, have like people that you can message and everything else. However, the engagement of those things have decreased drastically. Like blogs, many people don't want to read content, they want to watch short videos today. And also the mailing list, like the average mailing list open rate, I believe is 22% or 23%. And that's if you have a really good, I know it's average, but the reason that's average is because many people have a smaller list. And so that has impacted that. And then the click-through rate of emails are really, really, really low, like it's under 1%. So sure, have your own platform, but these days, those older platforms as like blogs or a mailing list and other things are not working the way that you used to work. So what do you do, right? And then that's where the app comes as a platform that allows you to have ultimate engagement, which means that you can send notifications to people. They're going to see and click on the notification, see the notification, they're going to click on the notification. You can have like a 3, 4, 5 minute video, like really short video, but you can have any call to action you want. You're like, hey, go down below and book a call with me. Go down below and get to, my website. Go down below and register for my event or any of those type of things. Yeah. So the app allows you to actually do a lot of other things. Plus, you can also use the app to sell courses. You can use the app to sell like all the other type of things that you want to use the app to sell. And that will also generate income for you. And I'll give people access. And the good thing here is that we can also talk about Apple tax, at one point. And different ways of selling on the apps and monetizing your app. But one of the greatest things with that is that by using a tool like ACTIONERA, your content isn't just going to be on the app. Your content is going to be on the app and on the web. So people who want to consume your content on the web, they can consume your content on the web, and people who prefer the apps, then they can go and study on the apps. But here is an interesting thing, which most people don't know. 65% of your audience prefer to consume your content on an app, not on the web. And majority of people talk about online course creation, and online course creation market is going to be like a $500 million market, like $500 million market by 2025. But I was actually reading a report that said consuming content on an app is a $1 trillion market already.
Yeah.
Who would have known? Like, I've been teaching online course creation for many, many years of my life. And I was like, wow, like we're going to be at $365 million or $370 million, $1 billion by like 2025. And then the COVID hit. And then so I mean, people started buying even more online courses. So that became like $500 billion by 2025. But I would never guess that buying actually content on apps is today 2 to 3x of the size of the market on the web courses. Everybody's talking about online courses, and nobody's talking about the courses on apps because it's very hard technology for the majority of people. And that's where ACTIONERA comes to picture, because ACTIONERA is like, well, I can handle this for you, no problem. You just put this here, click here, and I'll do the app for you. And that's what makes ACTIONERA unique. And then, of course, with ACTIONERA, we also say, we don't even need to spend extra money. You already have a funnel tool that you're paying for. You already are having a mailing list tool that you're already paying for your calendar tool. And we will replace all those tools. So we will save you all the money that you're paying through all the other tools. You can come to our tool, you can use this, plus you can have your own app. At much cheaper. For many people would end up to be much, much cheaper than the money that they're already spending. And gives them a lot more features for sure. So anyways, ACTIONERA is a very exciting technology. And for those of you who know me, know that I've been in this industry and teaching online course creation for a very long time. And I think probably at one episode, you and I need to interview each other.
Sure.
And like you tell a little bit of your background and I tell a little bit of my background, just in case anybody's listening to this don't know like a little bit of our background and what we have done in the past. But we're kind of getting close to the end of.
Yeah, I think ultimately this, like we said, this podcast can go wherever. And I think this first podcast was important for us to really focus in on why apps. Why is this the thing that we're focused on and helping you use to its fullest potential? And so just kind of that general education, like what we're giving you right now. And while you were talking, I was thinking about, sometimes I get the response from someone that says, well, I have a mobile optimized website so that people can get to on their phone. So I'm technically on their phone. But there's something really important that people they may not know that you should also know, that 90% of the time, this is a stat that's been around for 6 years at least 6 years since we've started this building our technology. But the important thing to know is that 90% of the time that people spend on their phone, which right now is 5+ hours a day, and they're literally, the average person is picking up and picking up and putting down their phone an average of 58 times a day. That's how much usage the average person, which is a lot of people. But the average person spends 90% of their time on their phone inside of apps. So if you're wondering, well, I have a mobile optimized website, I'll just send someone my website and they can get to it from there, or I'll send them a QR code. Maybe they'll do that once, but they're not going to go back. And that's the power of apps. Apps are that ultimate sticky connectedness to your business. It's something that they'll open to, see what's next. What's that next video that you posted? What's that next article or blog post that you've written? And that multiple contact that you have with that person ultimately leads with the proper strategies, with the proper call to actions, ultimately leads to them engaging with you in the way that you want, where you can impact their lives, where you can monetize your message, and you can really live out the passion or the purpose that you have around your business. So, yeah, it's good to, hopefully this has been informative for you to realize that this is not just a fad. It's not just some people should do it and some people shouldn't do it. Every small business, every business should be in the app space, because it's going to only trend more and more and more towards this platform being the place that everybody is accessing information. And you have information to share with people. You have products that you want to sell. You have services that you want to sell. You have a business that you want to build, money that you want to make. This is the place to be, for sure.
Absolutely. And one thing that we want to invite you to do is get your phone, go to App Store or Google Play, and then from there, just search ACTIONERA. And that will allow you to download the ACTIONERA app from Google Play or from App Store. So that's number one thing that you can do to be able to see ACTIONERA. That's a shared app, like that's our app. Of course, every one of our customers have their own branded app, right? So you can go there and you can download Iman and Aghay app, which is my app, or you can download Live Your List app, which is Robert Evans' app, right? Or any of our customers. So there are lots of apps that our customers have. But we also want to encourage you to go and create a free account for yourself to see how our system works. So it doesn't cost you a thing. It doesn't cost you a dime. You don't need to put your credit card information, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
You don't need to put any credit card information. Just simply go to actionera.com and create a free account for yourself. And that free account will allow you to put your content on the ACTIONERA app. So you can actually see your content, how your content will look like if you had an app, right? And you can unlock your content on ACTIONERA. So you can get your content on ACTIONERA actually by providing people an unlock code, and also be able to see your own content. So we're very, very excited and for starting this podcast. Thank you very much for being with us for this episode. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast, and we can't wait to see.
We've got a lot coming your way, and we're excited to share it with you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to Looking forward to you downloading the next episode to listen to.
That's at least you didn't say I look forward to seeing you on the next call.
Right, at least, right? But then, anyways, it was great to be with you. I can't wait to be with you again.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode.
And there you have it, folks. Another power-packed episode of the ACTIONERA Podcast comes to a close. We're so glad you could join us today. Don't forget to swing by our website, actionera.com, where you can set up a free ACTIONERA account and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, ensuring you never miss a beat. If you found value in today's show, we'd be over the moon if you could rate us on iTunes or simply spread the word to a friend. Looking for more? Download the ACTIONERA app by going to actionera.com and scanning the QR code. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned for next week's episode, where we'll continue to provide insights and inspiration to fuel your entrepreneurial journey. Until then, keep making a difference, and we'll see you on the next ACTIONERA podcast.